Hello and welcome to today's reading. Hello to any new viewers that I have, and welcome back to anybody who's returning. Thank you for joining me here today. I'll just quickly explain how my messages come through so you know. So they come through as a series of words, phrases, sometimes little scenarios played out in my head. And what I do then is I clarify and back up using tarot. So we'll get straight in, yeah? So I know today that today's reading is all about love because that came through loud and clear straight away because I got the image of the Lovers card in the tarot deck just in my head. Okay, so I know today already that that's what we're talking about. So if that's not what you're wanting to hear about, go and check out some of my other videos. But if that is something that you're sort of questioning at the moment, stay tuned. Now I will say my videos don't reach very many people, so if you've clicked on this today, the likelihood is that there is something in here that you were meant to hear. Okay, so that was the first image that came through, was just the Lovers card, and I asked for backup from tarot as to what exactly is it that we are needing to know about our relationship at the moment. So the first card that came through was the Eight of Pentacles. And this is all about sort of working away diligently at something, being engrossed in a project. I was like, well, what's that got to do with love? And so maybe it is that you are sort of, working away at your relationship already. But I did ask for a second card for clarification, and I got the Queen of Wands, and that kind of changed it for me a little bit. So I get the feeling that at the moment you are embracing a Queen of Wands energy, okay? And she's so self-assured, she's confident in herself, she knows what it is that she wants, she's totally in tune with herself. And it might be that there is somebody within this relationship who can't see it necessarily. They're so busy chipping away at whatever it is that they're doing. And I kind of get the feeling that somebody in this partnership, this relationship, is so busy working or so engrossed in a certain project that they're not paying attention to you who you're feeling amazing at the moment, and you're just not quite getting anything from your partner. So you I don't know, I'm getting the feeling that you feel sexy at the moment, you feel attractive, and it's kind of going a little bit unnoticed, which can be really frustrating. The other overall theme that's coming through for me today is about communication, and I'll get into that a little bit more as the reading goes on. Okay, so there are your first two cards. So yeah, keep feeling sexy. And I'll talk you through what sort of advice tarot came through with. Now, the second thing that came through to me, I've really had to sort of do a bit of a deep dive with this one because it was so cryptic. I hate when the universe gives me cryptic messages that I have to work through. But the word was Rochester. Now, in the UK, Rochester is a town in Kent, so in the southeast of England, not far from London. When I say not far from London, it's in British terms, it is quite a distance, but if you're thinking like big scale like it is in America and places like that, it's not too far. So Rochester, I'm like, what do I know about Rochester? Not very much. So I looked it up, and it's got something that's unique, that's happened to it, that's unique to towns in the UK. Rochester used to be a city, so it had a royal charter to have city status, and it is the only town that has lost its city status, and it's now classed as a town rather than a city. Okay, and that's because of changes in like boroughs and things and municipal states. It's just something sort of like government level changing around of things that made it lose its city status. And there's been an ongoing, so that happened in 1998, so quite a while ago, and there's been an ongoing campaign to reinstate the city status. So here's me thinking, what on earth has this got to do with love? And then I kind of thought, it's something to do with this Queen of Wands energy. She's regal. She is like full on embodying being this queen. And it's sort of feeling like that's how it felt at the start of this relationship. And now that the other party in this relationship, the other person in this relationship is has got their attention elsewhere, it almost feels like this has been demoted. You know, it's not being valued as much. That's kind of what I'm feeling. And I did ask for a couple of tarot cards for clarification on this. And the first one that I got through was the Hierophant. So the Hierophant, normally when I draw him out, he sort of represents order and structure. So I think in terms of the Rochester thing, what's coming through there is that this is just a process that's happened, and some things, the result of it is that the status has been lost, but it's only because there's been a change in structure. Okay, so it's not lost any of its charm, it's not lost any of its, you know, what makes it itself. It's just like not being seen for what it is at the moment. So that's kind of what's coming through now, is that in this relationship structure, the dynamic has changed. So nothing's actually changed about the two individual people. It's just that the balance isn't there the same as it was in the beginning. And life gets in the way, doesn't it? You know, the initial excitement of getting into a relationship wears off. You kind of fall into patterns of life, you know, going to work, having other projects on, that sort of thing. And I drew another tarot card for this one as well, and it was the Seven of Swords. Now, the Seven of Swords is all about kind of like dishonesty, being a bit deceitful. But I feel like this is coming through because there is a dishonesty in yourself. I can kind of see that you're putting a brave face on it and sort of going, oh, it's all well and good, this is what happens, you know. Just bear with me, my dog's trying to get in. I'm just going to go let her in. Hey girl, this way. Good girl, good girl. She's being a little bit clingy because she's very, very tired. Come on, up you come. Up you come. She's an old girl now. Let's see if you can see her. Look, my lovely Springer Spaniel. Look at the camera, Willow. There you go, good girl. So she's joining us for today's reading. I normally close her out and she's fine just sleeping. Okay, where was I? So I got rudely interrupted. She's going to go back to sleep now. She'll get herself settled. No, she's going back down. So, yeah. Oh, and I apologise, the noise on the floor is the kids' train track that she's now destroying. Oh, I'll have to put that right. Right, she's settling. Let's carry on. Right, so Seven of Swords. Being dishonest with yourself, yeah. So, kind of sort of burying it down. It's like, oh, well, I'm in this loving relationship and it's okay, you know, it is what it is. But actually there's sort of a feeling deep down that you miss how it was, and you're kind of wondering if it's right anymore. That's the feeling that's coming through with that one. So a little bit of dishonesty with yourself, and perhaps the other person's feeling that as well, you know. Or in fact, I get the feeling that the other person in this relationship is a bit blind to it because they're too busy doing this. Okay, so they can't see what's happening. Right, and when I've asked for advice from tarot, I've got the High Priestess, and I love the High Priestess because she's all about tuning into the sort of dialing out of the logical mind and tuning into the feeling mind, and you know, those mystical feminine properties. I'm going to say something here as well. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female or any other gender type. For this reading, this, you know, the masculine and feminine energies are there in us all, and balanced out in different ways in us all. So what I will say is, masculine tends to be more about taking action and doing, and feminine energy is more about sort of feeling and being. Okay, so I hope that helps to clarify that. I'm not saying, you know, this is a reading that's specifically for women, you know. But anyhow, so the advice is to not try and think yourself and try and figure out using your logical brain what's going on, but feel into it, like, oh, how am I actually feeling, you know? Because I think that's, if the logical mind takes over, that's when this comes in. It's like, well, I'm in this lovely relationship, you know, I've got this stable environment. It's just, you know, it's good, it's all good. But the feeling side of you is saying something different. Okay. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. This happens in so many relationships. And like I said, I'm getting the feeling that communication is going to be key. I'm going to keep going, and we'll get to that bit. So the next message that had come through was somebody saying to someone, well, you shouldn't be crying. I hate the word should. I think I've said that in other videos. It's got a judgment there. So it's somebody saying to somebody else, you shouldn't be crying. So it's like, I don't agree with how you're feeling, or I don't understand why that's making you feel that way. It might be that you're thinking yourself, I shouldn't be feeling like this. But the thing is, the more you deny that and the more you use that word should, I shouldn't feel like this, that's you not admitting being deceitful with yourself, you know, and burying that emotion down. Because when you do that, it'll manifest in other ways, you know, it'll come out in other ways. It'll come out in resentment, it might come out in arguments. You know, if you're feeling a certain way and leaning into that feeling, you know, I shouldn't be doing this, try and take that out of it. And it's like, no, this is how I'm feeling. I feel this way. And even if it's, you can't quite put your finger on what's making you feel the way you feel, just admit to yourself, like, I feel a little bit sad at the moment. I feel a little bit ignored. You know, whatever it is that you're feeling, just allow it to come, so that you get more in tune with what it is that's actually the issue at the moment, what it is that's causing you to feel this way. Okay. And then alongside that message was there was another little phrase that said, you've given away medical control. So I don't know what that exactly is about. It's almost like you've given away your autonomy to somebody else. You've outsourced something that should be within your control to somebody else. So letting somebody else make decisions for you, letting somebody else tell you how you should be thinking or how you should be feeling. But the thing is, we're all individual. We all think and feel things in a different way based on our own experiences and our own lessons that we've learned in life, our own values. So don't bury down how you're really feeling about things, is what's coming through there. And then the next message that came through, and this came through as an image first, and it was of a cityscape sort of seen from kind of above, not totally a bird's eye view, but sort of looking out over a cityscape. And it was very apparent that there was and the word came through as I kind of could see the discord is the word that came through. It came through as there's a discord in architecture. And in this image I can see big buildings and really tiny buildings, perhaps even like you know, a big metropolis sort of thing surrounded by slums is kind of what was coming through. So like there's a really definite divide of wealth is what it felt like. So perhaps there is a little bit of an imbalance in your relationship as to what roles you have. I'm not sure. This is going to resonate different for different people depending on what's going on. So it might be areas within your situation, within your life, where there's things that are going really, really well, and this is those like superstructures. Yeah, this is what came through as microstructures and superstructures. So things that are taking more importance are these superstructures, and then the microstructures are the things that are kind of getting left by the wayside. They're all those little things, but it's all those little things that add up to sort of make something bigger. I'm finding it quite hard to convey this message. It's quite abstract. So tarot is kind of asking you to look at the details. That's it. So look at the smaller details that are all going to add up together to change how something is. Now, when I've asked for advice from tarot with this one, or for clarification from tarot, rather, I got the Ace of Wands in reverse. Now, when the Ace of Wands is upright, this is all about taking new inspired action. You know, like creating new projects, taking new steps in relationships, that sort of thing, or new relationships starting. Now, when it's come out in reverse, this is sort of symbolising to me that it's almost as if somebody doesn't want to take any action, or just doesn't know what action to take first to put things right. And then, so I've asked for another card and I got the Hermit. Okay. Now the Hermit is kind of all about going inwards. I suppose it's sort of linking back to that High Priestess energy as well, you know, going inwards, using that intuition, maybe spending a little bit of time alone to do that. I'm a big advocate of time spent in solitude, where you've not got the noise of other people's opinions or whatever. So, you know, turn off social media, turn off, you know, don't go Googling, don't go outsourcing your decision making to something else. Go within, because the answers are in there. And if you tap into that divine feminine energy that you have inside you, that sort of knows and feels the right things to do, then this is the way to do it, is to spend some time alone. And another meaning of the Hermit as well is to detach away from things and sort of pull away as well. So I'm getting that that's happening as well. So as a result of not wanting to take, or not knowing what action to take, you're kind of pulling away. So, you know, if you're pulling away from whoever it is that's in this relationship, that's not noticing you, that's not noticing your beautiful energy that you've got at the moment, you know, what is it that you're scared of voicing? It's a fear of revealing those inner truths as well. So it's pulling away to keep your feelings hidden. Yeah, that's what's coming through. Okay, so this is kind of what's happening at the moment. And what will happen then is it's almost like you're going to diminish your light, and that rift can potentially get bigger and bigger then. That other person's not noticing you, not paying you as much attention. And this isn't about like neediness or anything like that. It's just a relationship dynamic thing, you know. And yeah, they're not noticing that that's happening, but you're also not letting them know that you feel a certain way. So it's kind of perpetuating and creating more discord in the architecture within the relationship, because there's that lack of communication. Okay, so now the next thing I got through was it was a woman, an American woman, properly hollering to a partner, and she was shouting, I won't try and do an American accent because that's just not something I can do, but she was shouting, are you in the garage? So for one thing, like, I'd say garage. So you say that in a Yorkshire accent. Are you in the garage? And it's almost like she's annoyed that he's gone and distanced himself in there. And as soon as I heard that, I automatically thought of the book Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. If you're familiar with that, it's quite an old-fashioned book, and I know it's had a lot of stick just recently about sort of gender stereotyping. But one of the concepts in there is about how men and women deal with things in different ways, and it's because of this masculine and feminine energy. So if a man needs to sort of decompress or take a bit of time out, he'll go into his man cave. Is what it says in this book. You know, I'm only saying what's going on here, and that is his way of like winding down from work, going and shutting off, going and taking some time out to problem solve something. Okay, whereas women need to talk it out. We need that, you know. So rather than having space, we need company, and it's not necessarily that we need help with solving our problems. We just need to feel like we're being heard. Okay. Now, I feel like the reason that this has come up, and I've kept saying it all the way through it, is because there is a misunderstanding between the two different communication types. Okay, so if you feel like your partner is, you know, putting a lot of energy into something and it is maybe sort of abandoning the relationship a little bit, then it might just be worth letting them know, you know, like maybe it's that they've got something going on in their lives that they're finding stressful and this is their way of dealing with it, perhaps. But it's just letting them know how you feel, you know, if it is that your partner's overworking or putting their energy into a hobby that they've got and you're not spending as much time together as you'd like, something like that, don't be afraid to voice it, you know, just get them to one side and say, you know, it'd be nice to spend a little bit more time together doing stuff like we used to do, perhaps. I could try something new. And when all of this has come through, the card that I got from Tarot for advice was the Judgment card. Okay, so this is a major arcana. Now, when Judgment is in the upright position, it's all about sort of moving forwards, but without any judgment. So I think that's where this communication thing is going to be key. So for it to come out in reverse, I think the temptation will be to sort of be blaming each other for things or blaming yourself for things. So saying, I don't feel valued because you're putting too much time in work, and that there's a judgment there then. So rather than projecting that out, rather just talk about how it is that you're feeling at the moment, because then there's no blame on anyone, there's no, you know, and you could even start by saying that it's like, I know you're working really hard at the moment, but I kind of feel like I'm not seeing very much of you and I'd like to see more of you. So put a positive spin on it. So it's all about what you say and how you say it. So yeah, don't just make sure you don't go into this blame mode, because that's just going to cause that rift to get bigger. Okay, and then the next card that I had come up was Temperance, and Temperance, another major arcana. So these are big bits of advice that are coming through from Tarot now. You know, things that are going to make a big difference. So Temperance is all about taking your time with things, making sure that you've got the right balance. So I think that's what's key that's coming out here. So that communication needs to be balanced. So you need to be able to voice your concerns and your feelings, but also listen to those concerns and feelings of the other person as well. And just take the time to really understand each other. That's what's coming through. And I think a lot of couples get into this, so you're not alone. Yeah, it's sad, isn't it, that we get like that? once the like adrenaline sort of side of things wears off. So yeah, quite a nice message I think today, mainly about communication and voicing your needs. Yeah, not dimming yourself, staying true to your where's she gone? Queen of Wands. I think Queen of Wands and the High Priestess together. It's quite a nice combination, that, isn't it? You know, being fully yourself and shining with it, and also being tuned into your intuition and knowing what it is that you're feeling, and not being afraid to voice it. Okay, not going too much in on yourself and pulling away. Yeah. So if you've watched my recent videos, you'll know that I've been pulling an extra card from a deck that is my son's. So he gets these little collector's cards from his little healthy snacks that he has. Okay, and when I've pulled one today, I got the Leviathan, which is like a giant sea beast. And we'd use the term Leviathan to also talk about anything that's like a big dominant thing. So, you know, like an oppressive government or thing. It's like something big that's overhanging things. And I feel like this is what the general feeling is in the relationship at the moment, that there's something big that's hanging over you that you don't quite know what it is, don't quite know how to express it, but that's everything that we've just gone through. And I think in communicating and being with no, get your words out, Jenny, being open with each other, that's how you're gonna minimize the risk of it turning into more of a big thing. You know, don't let it get to that point where it's it's going to sort of all consume and then come out as a big explosive argument, you know, where you're blaming each other for things and you don't really know what the issue is. I think that's another thing that sometimes happens in a relationship, is you get into an argument, but the argument isn't necessarily about what it's about. You know, it's not about whose turn it is to clean the dishes or whatever. It's actually something behind the scenes, but that thing has just been what's tipped it over. You know, it's flicked the switch from being, yeah, it's just kind of built up, if you know what I mean. So don't let it turn into this, is the message that's coming through. Okay, I hope you found that useful today. And as ever, if anything has resonated in this video with you today, please click the like button and pop me some comments in. I really love to read the comments, and it's good to see when people support each other in there as well. And as always with any YouTube thing, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you are notified anytime I do another video. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today. Sending you much love and positive energy. Goodbye.